do dua for him. And this was the condition of the mother of, and then we see like the wife of Fir'aun, Hazrat Asiya alayhi salam. You can't imagine that the one Fir'aun is cursed in Quran by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rejected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the wife of Hazrat Asiya, the wife of Fir'aun, is considered to be among the pure women of the world and the universe, one of them. And then we see come to the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The role model, Hazrat Khadija alayhi salatu wasalam. See, the backing of Rasulullah was done by Hazrat Khadija alayhi salatu wasalam. When nobody was there to support Rasulullah, Hazrat Khadija salamullah alayha had a strong personality of Hazrat Khadija was there. People say that she was widow and she got married to Rasulullah, but the ulama and the research show that no, she was not married before. She didn't find a match for her. How can a woman who was married before and divorced, how can she send someone with a caravan to judge his character and see him, how he behaved, how he acts, to seem purely as she sent Rasulullah. And after she found out that he is the pious person, she considered herself and she presented herself to Rasulullah for marriage. So we see the role of Hazrat Fatima to Zahra salamullah alaiha is the same way. Role of Hazrat Zainab salamullah alaiha. Role of Hazrat Sakina salamullah alaiha. And even after Karbala, we see in Karbala the role today we see Karbala is alive because of the sermons of Hazrat Zainab salamullah alaiha. Hazrat Zainab didn't go to a college or a university. She didn't go out of her house even, but Allah has blessed her with the knowledge which come onto the heart, mind and soul of a mu'min from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the creation of the women by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is for a different thing. And the thinkings between the worldly people, the people who believe in the worldly desires only, or the worldly system, materialistic system we can call, and the Islamic system, the difference between the way of thinking of the two schools or the two lines is because the worldly system doesn't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't believe in creator. And Islam believes in creator. The worldly system believes in our life from our birth till our death, only this portion. Whereas Islamic system tells us that we were living before this and we will be living after this. They believe in our soul coming from the world of the angels. Similarly, there are too many differences that in the worldly system sees eat, drink and enjoy and do everything, whereas the Islam believes in that we have got a life later on. The worldly system believes in anything which is in the range of our five senses: eating, drinking, like taste, like smell, like seeing, like touching, like hearing, five senses, which is in the range which we can feel. And Islam tells us that no, there is an unseen world. Bil ghaib, we have to have iman on ghaib, the unseen. Have a belief. Why do we have to believe in the unseen? Because when you tell that it's the human nature, that you tell him that there is something which is unseen, automatically he will see what is the unseen, what is there, what is I can't see. So for that reason, it is the way of thinking of Islam is different than the worldly system, but Islam and the way of thinking of Islam is far ahead than the worldly materialistic system. The worldly system, in the same sense, they take women like after the Second and the First World War, because here the population was small, in UK especially, because at that time the superpower of the world was United Kingdom, the Great Britain. And the Great Britain was ruling everywhere from New Zealand, Australia, Canada, even America and India and Africa, everywhere it was controlled. The sun never used to set in the Great Britain. In one part of Great Britain, there used to be a day all the time. Around the globe was the rule and control of the British government. And at that time, after the Second World War, when they lost the population and the men, too many men were lost. And they won. The Second World War was fought on the foundations of industry, the military power, the creation of the tanks and the guns and the airplanes was industrialized. And when the war finished, they turned that industrial thinking towards the worldly things, and they made everything an industry. They turned everything into an industry to keep a control over the world. But for running the industry, they didn't have enough population. So they had to bring the women folk from their houses. Otherwise, if you see, before the Second World War, here the women, they were just living in the home, like in the Eastern countries, like in our Asian countries. They used to look after their families. They were family-oriented people. Now, even if you see in the United Kingdom, the people, the real British people, the original ones, you see they are family-oriented. They keep their family intact. So the women were there. So they wanted the women folk to come out. So they said, we should bring equal rights for women, come bring them out so that they can work in the industry, they can work in the factories, because they needed them. But in the countries where there is abundance of population and most of the people, they are like jobless there and they need a job and men are available there, it is not a necessity. Yes, women should be able to work, able to earn, able to in that position, so that in an emergency, if their circumstances arise, they should be able to look after their family or themselves even. But their job is not to do the job. Their job is to be like a mother, like a daughter, or like a wife, or like a sister, and look after, create that environment in the society, in the family. That is the important role which the women have to play. We see the ulama, the great ulama have said that if you bring one man onto the right track, you have cured one person. But if you bring one woman to the right track and she gets onto the right track, the whole society, the whole community comes to the right track. And this has happened in the society, in the history. So women's role after Karbala, the message of Karbala was sent by the women. We see that in India, in Pakistan, in other parts of the countries, even in the Arab countries, the women played a role in majalis of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Women played a role in boosting the message of Karbala and Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. It was the women folk. Now you go to the ziyarat, you see the way the women do dua there at Imam Raza alayhi salam, at Imam Hussein alayhi salam, at the Muslim of, for example, say in Najaf, at the Muslim of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And even if you go to the Hajj during the Tawaf, you are not supposed to keep a gap between the men and women. They're moving around together, telling the people that it is very important for the women, that the men and women should not be like a wolf and a sheep. They should be like human beings moving together, and not the shaitan, not overtaking them, shaitan controlled by them. This is what is required from the Islamic society and community. And women do play a role. They have to play a role in lectures, in otherwise, in preaching, in every sense. The children being brought up, the women, if their guidance is not there, how can you raise a good children? In raising Imam Hassan alayhi salam and Imam Hussein and Sayyida Zainab and Sayyida Kulthum, the role of Hazrat Fatima Zahra is well known. When Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein used to come after the Jumu'ah prayers, Hazrat Zahra used to ask them, what was the sermon of Rasulullah? She used to ask them, she used to question them, she used to bring them up. And that's why we see, because of the training of Hazrat Zahra salamullah alaiha, in those harsh conditions, in that limited period, we see the personality of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, the personality of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the personality of Sayyida Zainab salamullah alaiha, and Hazrat Kulthum came forward. So the women's role is not a small role. It is a very important role. In a family also, we need the softness of the mother. softness of the queen of the house. Soft, she's known as Rabbul Bayt, the nourisher and provider and the lawkeeper of the home, the women. And it is because of the softness in Islamic teachers and scholars, they tell us that the harsh thing should not be taken over, harsh decisions should not be taken over by the lady. Why? Because of her softness, it has to be preserved in the mind of the children, the boys and the girls, the brothers and the sisters. They should consider the mother to be a soft corner for them. Anywhere, any problem, they should be able to speak to them. And the harsh work outside has to be done by the men, but no blackmail in that, that I'm earning money, you don't listen to me, and I won't give you the money, and I'll start blackmailing you emotionally or otherwise. No, that's not permissible in Islam. You have to provide her needs and requirements. You have to look after her. You have to preserve her softness. You have to preserve that environment in your house. And the men, although Allah has made you strong physically and otherwise, you can do hard work outside and come and bring and make contribute to the household. And then men and women, men are a backup for the women. If sometimes we see that the children, they are unable to understand in this because of this materialistic world and the materialistic training, sometimes the children, they go out of head outdoors, said, oh, my mom, they're not caring for mom, they're not respecting mom. At that time the husband comes in, the father comes in. Oh, what are you doing? Your Jannah lies under her feet. And at some time, for example, when the father is a bit harsh or something to control or discipline the children, he is like he is in his words, he's a bit hard. And then the mom comes in, her softness comes in. He said, listen, your dad goes and earns for you. He's giving your young age to you. He's giving your energy to you to make your the two ends meet in this harsh world of artificial poverty presently that we are going through in this COVID and otherwise. This is your father who is going and making earnings for you. So why are you doing something that annoys him or he's not happy with your behavior? The only thing that the father needs is that the discipline of the house should be good so that we can run it smoothly, like a bus driver, like a captain of a ship who is sailing in different weathers, in storms, in stormy weather, in high waves even. So this is here we the inclination that the men and women are something different and they are like the women are superior or the men are superior. It's not a matter of superiority. There is a combination. Islam tells us the combination is needed. There's no competition between men and women. They are different. They have different roles to play, and they are incomplete without each other. Man is incomplete without a woman, and a woman is incomplete without a man. She considers a man to be a support, to be a protection, to be one. You see that when she gets married, her husband is considered by her to be one who is protecting her. Nobody dares to misbehave with that woman who is moving with her husband. Similarly, the husband, when he is taking care of a lady, he considers himself to be a strong man who is able to look after his family and create a family. The aim and objective is not just the physical pleasure for men and women. The creation of the environment is important. The creation of an environment where the children can blossom up, they can come up, they can flourish. They are mentally, physically, spiritually, and otherwise. This environment has to be created. And the lesson we get from Karbala, and even after Karbala, we see, because of it, all that harshness that they went through, Hazrat Zainab Salamullah Alaiha, we see her sermons in Kufa, in Damascus. We see that how she continued the message. And not only her, we have another lady whom we call Hazrat Fatima Ma'asuma. When Imam was asked at the time that we are
Molana Sahab, you have muted yourself.
We have got seminaries in different places, in different areas, in different cities, Najaf, Qom, for example, in Lucknow, and that, but the seminary that is working in Qom has got its own blessings. So inshallah, it's not a competition between men and women. They are the same thing, and they couple up, they meet, and they match together. And for everyone in every family, it's a duty to guide their children, the brothers and the sisters living together, so that the boys and the girls, they live together. They learn to live together, not like wolf and the sheep, but like brothers and sisters, like two believers. والمؤمنين والمؤمنات بعضهم, among the mu'mineen and mu'minat, some of them are the guardians of others. They play the role of the guardians with each other, guiding each other. So inshallah, Allah bless us all with his special blessings in understanding the message of Islam, understanding the message of Karbala, and taking that message forward. Our duty is not just to understand from Karbala. Our duty is to move forward and pass on the message to everyone who don't understand Karbala. Our message is the message of unity. Our message is the message of softness. Our message is the message of brotherhood. Hazrat Fatimatu Zahra salamullah alayha went through very harsh time after the passing away of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But the way she selected was supported by Amirul Mu'mineen. Amirul Mu'mineen didn't take out his sword after Rasulullah in that harsh period. He continued with the stance of Hazrat Zahra and that soft way to confront and resist bad things, evil things, harsh things, violence and corruption, which was taken over by Hazrat Zahra, was continued by all the Imams. And that is our duty, to resist every sort of corruption and violence in an individual, in a family, in a community, or in the whole humanity. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah, Molana Sahab.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much,
much,
Molana
Molana
Sahab.
Sahab.
We have
We
five
have
minutes
5 minutes
for question and
for
answer.
question and answer.
ठीक है, thank you Munir bhai.
There
There
is
is
no
no,
question, I
I
think.
think.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much,
much,
Molana
Molana
Sahab.
Sahab.
Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
I have a
barakatuh.
We
question.
end it here.
हेलो नो
जी
जी मेरे पास क्वेश्चन है
जी बिस्मिल्लाह.
जब नजर उतारते हैं मेरी
जी
फैमिली में है कि जब नजर उतारते हैं तो वो कुछ बोल में जैसे अंडा ऑयल और सीड्स चीज होती है लेकिन मुझे कभी समझ नहीं आया ये और इसका ओरिजिन कहाँ है और अंडरस्टैंड नहीं होता कि ये क्या है.
देखिए बेटा, जो नजर जिसको आप कह रहे हैं ना, एक नजर होती है जो नजर मान लेते हैं कि हम नजर मानते हैं कि अगर ये काम मेरा हो गया तो मैं ये करूंगा, मैं 2 रकत नमाज पढ़ूंगा या मैं ये सदका दूंगा और ये सब कुछ करूंगा. एक होती है जो बैड इविल आई जिसको कहते हैं हम. अगर आपकी मुराद इविल आई की है, जो नजर लग जाती है लोगों को, उसके लिए करते हैं. ये बाकी सारी ट्रेडिशनल और वो चीजें हैं. असल चीज सदका है. अगर आप सदका देते हैं तो उस सदके से आपकी हजारों 80 किस्म की मुसीबतें अल्लाह टाल देता है. Allah relieves you from 80 types of negativities when you give sadaqah in the way of Allah. So these oils and seeds and whatsoever are indirectly, they're considered as sadaqah. They give away as a sadaqah. So sadaqah is good. Sadaqah, if you are going on journey, you have got a harsh time, or you are going through wrong things, or some in harsh periods even, that the best way is to give sadaqah in any form. You can give sadaqah in any form, like you can give sadaqah like the birds' food, you can give it to the birds. You can put the fish food in the pond for the fish. You can give it to a poor person. It can be in any form. You can give away a sadaqah. So for the people, and that's the important thing that we need to understand in this nazar.
Okay.
If I would like to mention that the evil eye is also like somebody is jealous of people and he don't have anything, so that jealousness brings results in what we can say, the negative vibes of the jealous person, they bring negativity to the person. So with the sadaqah, they go away, you can get relief from that. So it is there, but everyone thinks it is sometimes very much what we can say, people go into it and they cross the limit. They think that everything is nazar there and everything. It's not like that, but sometimes there is nazar. Sometimes people fell ill, they fell sick, and when you take the medicine or something else, are not cured. That means at that time, even if you fall ill or something like that, you give away sadaqah, it is good. Allah blesses the person with good health and cures him even.
Okay. Thank you.
Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.